It works. God. Mic setup, by the way. I didn't expect to make a CINIS video so soon. I've been updating CINIS a little bit. Alpha 1.6 already came out like 3 weeks ago, and now Alpha 1.7 is coming out. Alpha 1.6 was just like simple bug fixes and like a little bit of an add-on too. It wasn't huge, and the content in that update could have probably been in the game by release. However, I actually wanted to, release the game. Instead of having scope creep and just adding on shit all the time, I decided to push it out the door, and then I'd be like, okay, gonna finish up the last stuff. A week later, I'm like, okay, got some stuff ready, some patches for the worst of the bugs, so I pushed that update out. That's Alpha 1.6.
Hey yo, editing or post-recording me, my microphone broke, and the cable later fell out too, and yeah.
Okay. I hope I didn't break the entire recording and have to do all of this again. Okay, yeah, it is legitimately as soon as I ended that sentence. Since 1.6 mainly focused on quality of life and some optimization stuff, with those things out of the way, I could focus on a larger, more content-driven update. So, I did. Alpha 1.7 contains 2 new weapons, 3 damage types, 2 status effects, 4 weapon qualities, weapon upgrades, 4 new runes, new explosion effects, and a detailed weapon widget. Additionally, some bugs were also fixed, and some other stuff which changed. You probably won't notice those changes, and hopefully you didn't even know about those bugs. Let's talk about the new stuff. Flamethrower. It's one of the new weapons. It's also, at this time, the first and only weapon to deal heat damage. I've had the idea for a flamethrower for months, even before the game came out, so I'm happy to finally have it here. Most interesting part of making the flamethrower would probably be its model. I looked at a lot of other flamethrowers, and most of those are just kind of sticks with big canisters attached to the back of the wearer. That shit sucks in an FPS though. They don't really look cool or have nice silhouettes. So I tried going to Pinterest for some inspiration. I didn't find any, just more sticks with canisters. So I went to Google Images instead, and there I found sticks with canisters. Not good. I kept scrolling, and then I found this thing. Now, I don't know what this is. Like, I don't really know what it is. Is it real? Does it work? Is it like a toy or something? I don't know. But I also don't really care. It was inspiration enough for me to make something with an interesting shape, so I ended up with the final flamethrower model. For the colors, I went with something that was like the rocket launcher, but with green and orange instead of brown and red. I'm not entirely sure why I picked green, probably because of the image, but in the end, I think it looks good enough, so I'm rolling with it for now. I can just change it if I don't like it. The story for the lightning gun is a bit of the same, except it's even worse. Flamethrowers are a real thing. They've existed for about 100 years, and if you count Greek fire, at least like half 1,000 years or some shit. Lightning guns are not real. Surprisingly, we haven't found out a way to weaponize lightning bolts just yet. Of course, there's always Tesla coil guns. They just look kinda lame. So I looked at Quake's lightning gun, and it's cool. Once again, I went looking for more inspiration, and this took some time, hours actually. Eventually, I found something that didn't really fit at all what I needed. This is a mock-up of an electrically fired gun, and it's from the 1930s. It's basically a guy who thought it'd be possible to make guns that fire bullets by using magnets. And shit, he wasn't wrong. Even though that old mock-up wasn't real, I liked the look of it. I took a lot of inspiration from that and made changes on it where I saw fit. And that's basically how I ended up with this. Both of these weapons follow my overall strategy for making weapons. They gotta be real. Not really real, but like kinda real. What I mean with that is that you won't see an AK-47 or like an AR-15 or some shit in this game, okay? But I do like to look at real weapons, usually some more obscure or prototype ones. And then I basically just make changes to them wherever I want, and hopefully I end up with something cool. You can see a few more examples of that here. Now, why do I make it harder for myself to make weapons instead of just making whatever I come up with? Well, I don't know. Looks cooler, but I don't know. Making the runes for this update was pretty fun too. Runes basically just give either a strong passive effect or a small passive effect and then a strong ability on top of that. So passive runes are just called runes, but the ones with an active effect on them are called god runes. Currently there are 4 runes in the game. Fur, the god rune of the fire god. Thun, the god rune of the thunder god. Very creative names. I know. Rune of protection, and lastly rune of war, or the rune of the warrior. Fur and Thun are active. That means they allow the player to throw fireballs and thunderbolts respectively. Protection and warrior grants the player buffs. In the case of the rune of protection, it halves all damage, and it also gives double the amount of health and double the amount of armor. The rune of war, though, gives a slight speed increase, it gives a slight health increase, and it also doubles the amount of ammo you can carry. Runes spawn all the places that weapons could previously, so, you know, you'll find them in the usual spots. Weapon upgrades are also a thing now. You can upgrade weapons, provided that you have enough steel and that you find the weapon menu. Here's a hint. You press X. From there, you can upgrade either the speed, damage, or reduce the ammo cost of your weapon. Right now, ammo cost is only really applicable to some weapons. You can still waste your steel on it, but it doesn't do anything because it caps at 1. So, you know, expect a huge ammo overhaul coming soon. Oh yeah, steel's a thing. Enemies occasionally drop it, and you'll find it lying around sometimes. Don't know who deposits huge amounts of steel in caves, but, you know, there it is. Anyways, this script is like 5 pages now, so I want to wrap up the last stuff real quick and see if I can fit it into the last part of this page. So, damage types. Heat causes burn after enough damage, electric causes shock, and kinetic is what you're used to. Doesn't do anything. Except give damage, of course. Burn means enemies are on fire. They take damage over time. Shock slows them down and gives a little bit of damage over time too. It also makes them shake around. Now, ain't that fun? This works on the player too. You are not immune to being lit on fire. However, no one will dare to burn you just yet. So don't worry too much about it. What else we got? Oh yeah, weapon qualities. Weapons might be better when you find them. They could also be worse. They can be ancient. That means all stats are lowered, including ammo, so, you know, less ammo, but they also work not as good. Then there's swift, that makes the weapons faster, but deal less damage. Then there's powerful, more damage, but also costing more ammo. You could also just find a normal weapon, and that'll be just like you're used to having them. Now, you might think having a weapon that is objectively worse in some or all categories is bad, but you can upgrade them now. So if you find a weapon that fucking sucks, you can just upgrade it to make it better and kinda compensate for what it lacks in. Say that the weapon is too slow now, cause it's a powerful weapon, or that it's ancient. You just upgrade the speed on it and it's pretty good. So it actually works out in the end, believe it or not. Anyways, I'm getting to the end of the page now, so next up is probably gonna be enemies and more levels. Click links, play CINIS, bye!